Hi, it's Miss Parrott, and welcome back to AP Bio Equations Explained. Today we're combining this with an AP Bio exam skills video to look at understanding dy over dt, the secret language of graphs in AP Biology. dy over dt can be found on the second page of the AP Bio formula and equation sheet. It just means the change in y over the change in t, or time. These variables are also defined on the formula sheet. dy over dt tells us about the slope. It's the equation for slope. And that's going to give us information about the rate, or how fast something is happening. You can find this in all sorts of contexts in AP Biology, like population growth, enzyme activity, oxygen levels, or respiration rate. The questions that we want to ask when looking at graphs or data that involves a dy over dt is what is changing and how fast is it changing. Perhaps you could be looking at a population growth graph and be asking how fast is the population growing. Or if this is an enzyme, like enzyme catalyzed reaction graph, how fast are products being produced? Or maybe if it's a photosynthesis or respiration lab graph, how quickly are O2 levels rising or falling over time? There's hardly any units in the entire curriculum of AP Bio where dy over dt isn't important to know. So when it comes to the kinds of questions you'll see, as always, they may just present some data in written form, but you may also see data tables or graphs with information. You're going to use the formula dy, the change in y, over the change in t, if you are going to be required to calculate the rate of something. Now, it does not tell you what order to do things in, but since this is slope, we're going to do y final minus y initial over x final minus x initial. That's really how you're going to do it. So in this case, I've got data given in a data table. Here I have the same data given in a graph form. So you've got to be able to read both graphs and data tables to find your information. So y, that's our bacteria population, and t is time in hours in this case. So my y final is going to be, so at 0 hours, it's 100 cells. At 2 hours, it's 140 cells. So hours is my time, or my x, population is my y. So y final is 140 cells minus y initial, 100 cells, divided by 2 hours, x final minus x initial minus 0, equals 40 over 2, which will give and that's 40 cells in 2 hours. And then we're going to reduce to 40 divided by 2 is 20 cells per hour. That is the growth rate of our bacteria population. So every hour, it's going to gain 20 cells on average. So that's how you would work those kind of problems. Now, what we really want to focus on is what slope means in biology, because this is one of those situations, like from the previous video about water potential, where you need to be able to take a picture and turn it into words. And that picture may not be a cell in a beaker, it may be a graph. So if I look at a graph and I see a positive or an increasing slope, dy over dt is going to be greater than 0. And this is going to say that whatever the thing is, it's increasing, it's growing, it's going up. So if it's we're going to be looking at population, at photosynthesis, and enzyme in all these examples. So it could mean that a population is growing, or if it's oxygen concentration, there's more photosynthesis than respiration happening, or that the enzyme is working at full speed, so you're getting more products. On the other hand, if we have a negative or a downward slope, dy over dt will be less than 0. Our population would be decreasing. More respiration is happening than photosynthesis if our oxygen concentration is going down, so more is being used up than is being produced. Or let's say it's enzyme catalyzed reaction. If we see a downward slope, then maybe our enzyme is denaturing from some outside force, like temperature or pH change. Then there's the flat line. A flat line is a slope of 0. And in this case, if it's a population, our population has reached carrying capacity. That's the highest amount that ecosystem can support. Or if we have photosynthesis and respiration at equilibrium, so we're producing and using O2 at the same rate. Or maybe if it's an enzyme catalyzed reaction, either all our substrate is used up and we are at full products. Where am I going to see this on the AP exam and how? So again, lots of times you'll see this in graphs or in data tables. Most common topics would be your population growth models, enzyme graphs. I'll do a whole separate video for the AP Bio exam skills series on enzyme graphs, and respiration and photosynthesis labs. Other places you may also see it include if you're comparing the rate of diffusion or osmosis based on maybe surface area to volume ratio or temperature in an area, the change in allele frequency over time, or the rate of gene expression depending on where we are in, the central dogma of biology. So to wrap things up, the slope tells a story. dy over dt is your change over time, or the slope. If you have a positive slope, it's whatever you're looking at is increasing. If you have a negative slope, it's decreasing. And if it's flat, your model or your system is in equilibrium or is stable. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, question, or emoji down below. Teachers, feel free to check out my TPT resources at Know and Grow with Knowns. Keep learning and keep growing, and we'll see you next time.